quick one on Lavrov and his comments on F-16 fighter jets. He said that U.S.-built F-16 fighter jets can accommodate nuclear weapons and warned that supplying Kyiv with them will escalate the conflict further. Do you have a response?
The first thing I would say to Minister Lavrov is if you're worried about Ukrainian military capabilities, then you should take your troops and leave Ukraine. Training program for Ukrainian pilots, and that hasn't started yet. And it really is about helping Ukraine with its self-defense needs. And the last thing I'd say is that President Biden has been extremely consistent that we don't want to see this war escalate, certainly not into the nuclear realm. And it's not the United States who's tossing around reckless nuclear rhetoric. It's people like Foreign Minister Lavrov and President Putin and Putin's press secretary Peskov. They're the ones that are out there bannering around about nuclear capabilities, not the United States. Nobody wants to see this escalate beyond the violence that's already visited upon the Ukrainian people. There's no reason for that.
I mean, are you saying that F-16s cannot accommodate nuclear weapons?
I'm not going to talk about the nuclear capabilities of any platform in the American arsenal. The purpose of providing advanced fighter aircraft is to help Ukraine defend itself, defend its airspace and its territorial integrity, period. And there's no interest by the United States in escalating this conflict, certainly not into the nuclear realm.
Thank you so much. On the dam in Ukraine, I understand it's too early, you say, to assess who's responsible for it. But can you already say that ultimately this will qualify as a war crime?
I don't have a determination on that to speak to today. I would just say, you know, again, we're still trying to assess what happened here, but the Russians had illegally taken over that dam and the reservoir many months ago, and they were occupying it when this explosion happened. And it's very clear that the deliberate destruction of civilian infrastructure is not allowed by the laws of war, and in the additional protocol to the Geneva Convention that the Russians have themselves signed, the destruction of civilian infrastructure, such as dams, and dams are clearly articulated in there, are violations of that code. But again, we haven't made a decision. We're still talking to the Ukrainians.